James Tompkins and Drew Ginn won this title back in 2003 and then of course went on to take the Olympic crown. Well, this promises to be a close affair here, I think, Dan.
Yeah, I mean, you're hoping that the South Africans are finally going to have a look in here. They've always been behind the British or behind the Australians, but without those two pairs now, it's open house, and let's see what everybody can do here. You have to have money on the Croatians, because they really are a lovely looking pair. They haven't had a great regatta so far, but we'll see what they can do in the middle of the race. They always get left a little bit at the beginning, but then they come pounding through.
Skelton brothers, two from the bottom of your picture. Closest to you, the Canadians, Chris Jarvis from St Catharines in Ontario, but you're looking already at the New Zealanders. This is George Bridgewater in the stroke seat, and sitting behind him in the bow, Nathan Twaddle from Wellington and Auckland respectively, and they've now put themselves very much in the race. You've got Croatia in the foreground, then you've got New Zealand, and then the South Africans, who traditionally, Dan, also come with a late charge.
Yes, they do indeed. Remember that the New Zealanders were fourth in Athens. They've won two of the World Cups this year. They were first in Lucerne, first in Munich, so they have really got some form this year. But look at Greece on the top of the picture there. They really have gone out fast, moving very, very well. They're a new pair, but they were 10th in the World Cup at Eton, so to get into the final, they've done a very, very good job. Just look at them, they're rolling around quite a lot. They're having difficulty with the water. They're not really that steady. They're working very, very hard to try and maintain this early part of the race. But they are rolling around a bit. Wind's blowing down onto the backs of the crews, and it's quite tricky water.
The Greeks, that's Nikos Pagounis and Ioannis Christou. Really good start, in second place ahead of the Italians. Dario Lari in the stroke seat, Dan. He was with Davita in the Olympics when they finished 8th. Today with Luca Agamenoni.
Well, Agamenoni was in the Athens 4 minus for Italy, and they came third. They got the bronze medal. So there's a good new partnership there. Just interesting to see that Croatia's well up there in the heat of the battle. And as I said before, Croatia have a very good middle part of the race, so they will be the ones perhaps to put pressure on New Zealand now.
And on the near side, Canada struggling a little bit. Chris Jarvis, of course, who was involved in that controversial disqualification last year in Athens.
Ah, that's indeed right. And but he's teamed up here with Malcolm Howard, who was in the Canadian 4 that did very well. Got second in the Coxed 4 last year at the World Championships. So Malcolm Howard, Chris Jarvis, a new combination, and I think young and with a long way to go. There we've got a nice shot of the Croatians. You just see how beautifully Nixa just sits there in the stroke seat, just links up so well, so effectively. They were in Sydney, they were in the Croatian 8 that came third, won a bronze medal, and they've been really in the pair ever since.
It is remarkable, their sequence of medals. They've had, 3 silver medals and a couple of bronze medals from Sydney. They've never been out of the medals since Sydney, but the gold medal, the one they really want, always eluding them.
Yeah, you've got Croatia on the near side, just where I thought they'd be pushing through in the middle of their race. They're actually beginning to slip back a little bit.
Coming to the half distance now, and New Zealand with the advantage over South Africa, then Croatia, but Italy right on terms with them, and still the Greeks doing a great job on the far side to be this close at this stage.
Yes, 4th position there at halfway, very, very good for Greece there. But New Zealand, just look how they stretch out. They've settled their boat down now. We had those shots of them really wobbling about a little bit in the water, but they're just putting a push now in here. They've just gone up to 37 strokes a minute, and that's really where it counted. And if you remember, in the previous race, that's where the New Zealand girls did the same thing, and they really pushed on in that middle part of the race. But they've gone right up now, New Zealand, and they are moving on.
And perhaps responding to the fact that the South Africans put that push in the second quarter, but the South Africans are still there. There's about half a length between the two pairs at the moment. And Italy now moving up to try and take third place away from Croatia. The angle's deceptive, Dan, but it looks to me as if Dario Lari and Luca Agamenoni are now beginning to get themselves into a medal place.
New Zealand's gone up to 38 strokes a minute. You can feel the pressure there. South Africa at 36.5. They've been in this kind of a fight for a long time now, for 5 or 6 years. They were winners at Henley earlier on in the year, but the battle really now is on. New Zealand up at 38. They're not going to be able to come back from that. They've done a big push, and they're going to be flying, trying to hold off this attack from South Africa.
Two South Africans, just a little bit more than half a length to make up now. Ramon Di Clemente and Donovan Kett, who share the same birthday in May. And like the Croatians, so much want that gold medal. Bronze medalists in the Olympics, bronze medalists at the last World Championships, silvers in 2002, bronzes in 2001. They've been as close as the Croatians, but now they've got almost a length to find as Bridgewater and Twaddle now, Dan, look better than they have done at any previous part of the race.
And at 39 strokes a minute, I told you they weren't going to come back off 38. They've gone up to 39 now, and they are steaming. They've really opened up again now on South Africa, who are back at 35.5, 36. I think that the two crews, Croatia and South Africa, who are really, they're used to being up there in the front, battling for position. They've lost heart a little bit as New Zealand have gone out in front. But there's Italy, also looking, they're struggling a bit. I mean, they're moving their boat along, but they're not looking completely comfortable.
But they have taken over third place, and the big shock, Dan, is the way that Sinisa Skelin and Nixa Skelin have been surpassed. They are falling back, and they are not, at this moment, looking likely to get any sort of medal, and that's a big shock.
I think they've given up. I think either there's illness in the boat or they've given up hope. They wanted the gold medal, they saw that wasn't happening, they couldn't match the South Africans, and they've just slipped off the pace and lost heart. But there's no question about who is really taking this race by the scruff of the neck. Look, they continue now to open up at 40 strokes a minute. They're opening up an extra length of clear water on the rest of the field. It's fantastic.
Dan, I can't quite believe what I'm seeing here. About 40 minutes ago, Maher Drysdale went across the line to take the single sculls championship for New Zealand. About 20 minutes ago, Juliet Hay and Nikki Coles added another gold, and here is gold number 3 for Nathan Twaddle and George Bridgewater, who defeat Ramon Di Clemente and Donovan Kett and Luca Agamenoni and Dario Lari, who have to settle for silver and bronze. 3 New Zealand golds, and we've still got the Swindell sisters to come.
That's an astonishing performance from New Zealand. 5 athletes, 5 gold medals, 3 events.
144.57, 141.37 for the final 500 metres. Well, I wonder what Australia's James Tompkins would make of that. Perhaps that'll deter his thoughts of a comeback.